Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Park Air. I'd like to start off saying that I am not a financial advisor and that everything that I say in this video is my own opinion and for entertainment purposes only. So today's video, I'm going to cover my take on Viva Systems, ticker VEEV, and what direction I believe that is heading and why. Okay. For those of you that have watched my previous video on how I feel or believe that the stock market or stocks in themselves reveal a pattern to a large degree. Um, a lot of these patterns are seen throughout many stocks, and once you know a particular pattern, you can see it start to form in others. Um, this one just happens to be one that I can compare to the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So ticker DJI on a three week time frame versus VEEV 2 week time frame. A lot of times, once I establish the pattern in another indicator, um, you'll start to see, okay, it isn't exactly one for one. No two snowflakes are the same, but however, what you'll find is that the pattern is more uh, seems to follow itself more much closer than anything. So uh, let's take a look at our RSI. So this one's really hard to, can be really hard to notice or recognize. You just have to typically once one thing I try to do is I try to get the MACD looking relatively the same in its pattern, um, and there are several other patterns that form like this that have a real long movement upwards. The Dow Jones is one of them. I believe Apple looks a lot like this to a degree, um, and I'll reveal those in other videos. This one was actually brought to my attention by another streamer who him and I worked with quite a bit, Casey Shaw. If you don't follow him, definitely go over to his page and follow him. If not, I should have his link in this video. So VEEV was brought to our attention because it's in a position to where, from what I heard, that it could squeeze. The way the market's going, and there these numbers that are coming out saying that all these stocks are in great positions, and the next thing you know, they crap all over themselves. This is one where if it does continue to follow this trend of what Dow Jones did back in 1929, this is 1921 to 1929, this particular pattern ran out. Initially, when we compare the first two, this pattern was pretty flatlined. But what I look for is this is kind of similar to what AMC and GME ran. There's this little like bull nose that I like to see at the end of this pattern, and it's pretty prominent. Once you know it's there, um, a lot of other features tend to follow. So even though this wasn't so pronounced up here in VEEV, as much as it was down in Dow Jones, that doesn't mean the rest of the pattern won't play out, because as you see, a majority of the pattern is relatively the same. Um, so between each section, I like to highlight the different colors. If you can stay between each one, pretty much shows you the trending direction from green to up. There's certain landmarks or features within these stocks that I have always felt like they're more prominent in an RSI or the MACD. Yeah, they're not exactly one for one, but the moves or the direction generally will be the same for the most part. So you can see definitely from each one, purple to purple. The Dow Jones, because of what it is, it did move up a little higher. It has a couple little different features than what VEEV did. VEEV looks like it has a little bit more selling pressure current day, whereas in the 1900s, slightly different. However, both stocks peaked after hovering towards the top, and then really good sell-off in the RSI. Now, if where we're at comparing to the Dow Jones, VEEV uh, VEEV does look like it has a little opportunity to recover based on this RSI move, and some of these uh, support lines or resistance, depending on what direction you're coming from. You can see there was a support here, upper level of resistance, but established by this earlier flag, and then but you can see that once it crosses some of these lines, this one's actually blew through. This, if I had to guess, that VEEV isn't as I say as strong. To me, this generally tells that it's probably going down a little bit further within the 170 range based on the support line, and I look for it to possibly bounce up and then continue downward. Um, that's VEEV overall, just based on the overall market and the timing of things. This is what I truly feel that it could play out to be. Um, there is another similar timing of it that occurs in the Dow Jones that you can compare the stock to, um, and it starts to follow that trend. Just to show you that this pattern it generally will show itself multiple times um, throughout the life. The Dow Jones has done it because it's been around for over 100 years. So we see this pattern pretty common. Uh, if you look at these moves and features where we're at, well, another reason why I feel like Viva is playing out the way it is because of its Fibonacci sequence. And if you don't know what those are, go look them up. Look them up. The numbers that Viva is extremely similar to what the Dow Jones did 100 years ago, almost 100 years ago. So in here, you can see the Dow Jones definitely, was in the $10,000 range. Viva was in the 320, and it showed support that was established. Now, could Viva show support right here and continue upward? Absolutely. Um, are these stocks looking to follow a similar trend to the ones in the past because they're they're good blueprints to follow? Very well could be. Um, so that's pretty much my take on it. I'm going to come out with more content and other stocks. If you happen to like this or have questions on other ones, comment below. I'm happy to elaborate. Um, yeah, thanks a lot.